Hello, can you hear me? Am I audible? I do not have the microphone. I'm in a different room. Can you hear me? Suchandra Chakravarti saying we can ask questions. Well, you can ask general questions. You did Van Den Doel, mezzo soprano. Wow. Mayank Chauhan, hi. Vijay Palay, hi. Advocate Kajal Thakkar, hello. Shweta Vora, great to see you. Yes, great to see you. Nikita Wangkudre, going through confusion in love life. That's why I'm going to talk of Venus today. Yesterday also I made the video on Venus Rahu conjunction. So if you have not watched it, please watch it. Okay. Rishi A, yes. Ella Klishitsky. Yeah. All right. Vijay Pala, yes, yes. Okay, loud and clear. You can hear me now, right? Suchandra Chakravarti Singh, is marriage possible in Ketu and Ketu Mahadasha, Jupiter Antardasha? Well, good question. At the same time, your question is like asking, suppose tomorrow somebody is born in Australia, what kind of a future that person will have, all right? So we cannot answer such questions because it will depend on your individual chart and what's going on where Jupiter is placed. If Jupiter and Ketu has connection with the second, seventh, and the 11th houses, then there could be promise of marriage. Okay, depending on the transits and the dashas, right? So individually, we have to analyze the chart and then come to conclusions rather than just seeing one placement and just thinking maybe this gives marriage. Okay, so wish you all the best in your search for marriage and a partner. I wish you all the best. Okay, all right, so let's start about Venus Combust, which is going to be from, in fact, to be very honest, it has kind of started already. Because Venus is getting closer and closer to the Sun, and we all know that Venus gets retrograde once in 18 months, and it also gets combust. All right, so the combustion happens two times between this 18 months, once when Venus crosses and once when it goes retrograde. So now is the time that Venus is going to cross the Sun. All right, and because of this, Venus will be in very close proximity to Surya, and because of that, certain areas of our life might feel the feeling of being burnt. All right, so now what is the meaning of feeling burnt? Feeling burned does not mean it is bad or it's negative or something like that. Feeling burned simply means that the things that you thought will happen so easily around the corner may not happen that easily. You might need to put more effort. Effort does not mean that you're putting efforts and then there's no results. Okay, I don't mean to say that. That is more of a thing related to Saturn, that you're putting, and nothing happens on the ground. When a planet is combust, it's very close to the sun. So then what happens is, uh, so then what happens is, you have to understand that there are certain sacrifices which you have to make for the higher fulfillment. Okay, so somebody is asking in which combustion is it occurring, so you have to check Cancer and Leo. Wherever Cancer and Leo is, so there the combustion will happen. Okay, to some extent it will be there in Virgo also, but not that much. All right, so the thing is, what's exactly the meaning of combustion? Combustion means purification. Okay, so sun, as we know, he's the significator of light, and he's the significator of energy, and he's the significator of enlightenment also. All right, because he represents the pure consciousness at a higher level. So when a planet gets close to the sun, it that planet feels as if I have to Again, see, Capricorn ascendant, is it good or bad? So that's the problem. We just put things, astrology as good or bad. So then we cannot benefit from it, you see, because then we put things into blanket categories. This is good for me, but tomorrow something happens that becomes bad for me. All right. So that's the problem with astrology, that people put everything in blanket, places. Good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. This dance keeps happening. So there's no good or bad thing, okay, for any ascendant. It is just a matter of purification, which everybody has to undergo. And what happens, that of course depends on the karma, of course. Okay, so now see what happens when suppose a planet gets very close to Venus, so to Sun, I mean. It feels the need for a new cycle to begin. It means that certain old patterns, certain old things which you are doing, you can check from the last 9 months. This is an approximate timeline you could take. Okay, so from maybe last year, October, when Venus was retrograde that time. From that time, you can see what's going on in your life. So there you could have seen that you would have thought that certain things which you were doing in the last 9 months would eventually lead you to a lot of happiness and fulfillment in your life, depending on the houses which Venus rules according to your ascendant. Okay. So, for example, if you are a Capricorn ascendant, then it's the lord of your 10th and the 5th house. So, if you are Aquarius, is the fourth lord and ninth lord. So, depending on the areas which Venus rules in your chart, you can just see from last 9 months, all right, nearly from November, I would say, because November mid Venus started going direct last year. That's why I'm saying November. You could also take September, October, November into consideration, all right. But if you want to make things simple, just keep it November, because September, October, November, Venus was stationing and going retrograde. So um, because of that, it can be a bit difficult to analyze, because when a planet was retrograde and stationary, and then that period itself is very complex to analyze. So again, trying to fit that into today's context can be even more difficult. So let's keep things simple and let's talk of post November. Okay, so from last November, whichever house Venus rules in your chart, you would have seen that you had a new paradigm to things in life. And near about, I would say, March or April this year I'm talking, you would have had certain achievements in those areas. Okay, or there could have been downfalls also, depending on your dasha, of course. But there was a climax which happened somewhere around March or April, I would say, mid March to mid April, that 1 month when Sun was in Pisces. So now, what you thought was that those things which I got, which started somewhere in November, you started working towards it from November, and the things manifested somewhere around March, April. So you would have thought that these things which manifested according to my desires would have lasted for eternity. Okay, but the thing is, we have to realize that the only thing which is constant in this world, that's change. Okay. Khadija Mirza is saying this bloody Venus has been combust for 1 year now. I don't know how Venus is combust for 1 year. But please be mindful of your statements. Okay, if you use such words, then it's not very good, because you are not treating the planet with a good dignity. Okay, it's not good for you. I'm not talking of myself, I'm talking of you. Okay, so Khadija Mirza, please be respectful towards the plants. All right, so you would have thought that certain patterns from November up to March and April, they would be the cause of highest fulfillment in your life, and to some extent you made it also. At the same time, now when planet is close to the sun, it's like saying all the things are now ending. Okay, ending does not mean that the things which you achieved will be gone, you will be ruined. Okay, it doesn't mean that. It simply means your inner conception of how those things would have worked and how those things should work in life, they will have to change now. You will see regarding the houses which Venus rules in your chart, that old patterns which you have tried from so many months, I would say, may no longer work now. And that is why they say that when a planet gets combust, you feel the frustration. Well, they do not put this in a right way. See, what is frustration basically? Frustration is realizing the inability to cope up with the change, right? That's what frustration is. You wanted something to go your way around, but it didn't go. There's some change. So when they say that the planet which is combust gets frustrated, it simply means that the old patterns are now ending, all right, and new things are going to begin. So instead of getting frustrated and denigrating that change which does not yield any good results for anybody, all right, so let us welcome the change. So now for the next 9 months after September, you will see that now your the areas which Venus rules in your chart will undergo a basic purification, and that will happen between July 25th to September 7th. All right. So basically, the entire month of August, I would say, that's the critical month. And after the month of September starts, which is after first week of September, you will realize that now the new planet is emerging. All right, so Venus will be ahead of the Sun during that time. Now it is behind the Sun, okay, because Sun had entered Gemini on 15 June, and today or yesterday night Venus had entered Gemini. So Venus is behind the Sun actually now. And after September, Venus will be ahead of the Sun. Of course, before that only, but from September 7th, Venus will be out of the combustion. And it can also depend on which degrees do you take for combustion. Okay, that can also that could also modify the results or the effects or the dates. But in essence, I've opened drikpanchang.com, and this is what drikpanchang.com has told me, that from 25th July to 7th September, Venus will be combust this year. All right, so sometimes in life, regarding the areas which Venus rules, we would have thought that things will happen so easily, right? So, because of that, now what happens that we could be forced to have a reality check on the areas which Venus rules in your chart, okay, depending on your ascendant, that things can come easily or they can come after struggle. But always remember, you always have to make the necessary efforts, and you have to welcome the change which the planet is promising. Okay, my only concern about combust planets is that people give a very bad name to combustion. But why do they do that? Because this shows the mentality of people, and to some extent astrologers, not aware of the principle of how the material world is designed. All right, people also do not people are also not ready to put effort sometimes to make things happen. So we have to realize that if we want certain things to happen, then we must put the efforts necessary. And every time, depending on the cycle of the planet, like for example Saturn, 2.5 to 3 years, Venus, it's like 1 month in a sign, Jupiter 1 year, Rahu Ketu 18 months. All right, so depending on the cycle which the planets have in their natural course, like how much long does a planet stay in a particular sign. So depending on that, the houses which those planets rule, you will see they are undergoing some change, and new things are coming and new things are going. All right, sorry, old things are going. So the thing is, we should always be welcoming of the change, and we should always realize that the change which is happening for us is not for our bad, it is for our good. Okay, so if we welcome the change, then we will realize that things will eventually work out. Okay, otherwise if we just keep resisting the change, that oh, this is happening, that is happening, that's not happening, this is not happening, so what to do, in that case we will just end up being more and more frustrated. Okay, so let us not resist the change unnecessarily, and let us present the universe an opportunity to make the things happen, all right, for us. So let us be an instrument in the hand of the universe, and let us just see what's happening. Okay, and not just pretend that everything should go our way, because many times when things go our way, it's not necessarily that we evolve as a person. Okay, so that's uh, that's the important thing here, that we realize that ultimately things should turn out the way it should, not the way it should, according to our will. All right, so that's the lesson here, what Venus wants to teach us as by being combust. All right, so all right, so Sade Sati final phase is going smooth so far. Who is this Fatim Zia? He seems to be. He's hurling abuses. Get well soon, Mr. Fahim. There's some difficulty in your life, I realize, so you are spilling out the poison here. So, well, you can do that. You have the free will. I will not obstruct you. All right. Okay, so Roop Jyoti Singha blocked this fine. Well, why to block him? If insulting me makes him happy, then let him be happy. Okay, so Namrata Kamath is saying Mool Trikona Venus is in my birth chart. Now Venus and Rahu are sitting in my seventh, and I'm running Rahu Mahadasha, predictable relationship maybe. That could happen. It could also lead to, see, seventh house is more related to marriage. Okay, so if you are talking of affairs, then you would need to check the fifth house if it has linked with the eighth house and the 12th house. Okay, otherwise, seventh house can give you marriage. So it depends on what is your definition of a relationship, and if you talk of relationships, if you are talking of marriage, fully committed marriage, or if you are talking of some relationship in the near future. So Praveen Singh is saying combust Venus equal to weak sex immunity. Is this true? Apology for this query. No, it doesn't necessarily mean that. It's like we have a tendency always to put things directly, as literally. So it's like Venus represents the semen. So if Venus is combust, so the semen is not there. It's not like that. All right. But yes, at a deeper level, we have to realize that the change is around the corner. Okay. Okay. Ramya Gokul is saying, sir, please help me. I'm running Venus Mahadasha, and this dasha is a bit difficult. Please tell some remedies, sir. Well, Venus Mahadasha in general, if it's becoming difficult for you, then I would suggest you could fast on Fridays, number one, and secondly, you could also visit Haridwar. In Haridwar, there is a place called Kankhal. Okay, so there, if you go to Kankhal, you will see there's a temple dedicated to the Dasa Mahavidya. Okay, the 10 divine ladies. So you can go there and you can offer a prayer to all the Dashama Vidyas there. It will really be very good for you. So when I say it will be good, it does not mean that after you go and you offer the puja there, all your problems will vanish. Okay, that's not the meaning of good. So if there are some difficulties according to your karma which you are enduring, so it's not very good for us to find some magic remedy to get rid of all the suffering. Okay, by that it will not do justice to the soul. Now this does not also mean that we just keep sitting and crying and keep continuing our suffering. It does not mean that. So it simply means that when we do remedies, we should pray to the devata or to God or whoever that person is, to the graha, that please help me understand the lesson. Why this thing is happening to me? Okay, what do you want me to learn from this? Why are you giving this suffering to me? Of course, that devata is not giving you suffering. It is our own karma which gives us suffering. Okay, so when you go to Kankhal, you can go there and you can offer some prayers. You can do specific pujas there, and I don't mean some fancy, costly puja. Some bare minimum, some rituals you can do there. This is something which I can suggest you. Of course, I do not know your chart, where your ascendant is, where your moon is. I do not know your divisional charts. I do not know anything. Okay, and as another remedy, what I could do is I could also suggest that every morning to improve your Venus, you could take curd every day morning, plain curd. Okay. Now this you should do it in consultation with your astrologer, and this you should only do if that astrologer recommends personally. Okay, but in general you can do it. You can and on Fridays don't take curd because you could fast on Fridays. And there are some other specific remedies which you could do depending on where your Venus is, where your Upapada is. That day's fasting you can do. So that's how you have to do remedies. Okay, not just that your Venus Mahadasha is going on and it's a bit difficult. Please tell some remedies. So these are some general remedies which I can tell you. And Kankhal is also a place where Lord Shiva's first wife, Devi Sati, she had given up her life. Okay, and that's the place where Prajapati Daksh was having his yagya. So Devi Sati also represents the sacrifice which we do for a higher cause. So you can pray to her also, right? She will also empower you to learn the lessons why this suffering is happening. Otherwise, you will just be suffering and you will not know the lesson. So, what is the use of that suffering? All right, that suffering is useless. Any suffering which does not teach you lessons is such a useless suffering, because ultimately you just had pain and you just suffered, but you do not evolve into a new person. All right, so it's very important that you evolve yourself into a new person. Okay, Judith is asking, as an astrologer, you get all these questions about marriage and love and work. When life is about dissolving in God. Well, I also get very few questions like that. So it's nice to see that you are one of them. So thank you very much. Good afternoon, Sir Gaurav Mehrotra is asking, please explain the effect on Taurus ascendants. Well, this is a homework which you have to do yourself for every ascendant. All right, just check wherever the sign Taurus and Libra is. So these houses will undergo a change. All right, so for example, if you're a Taurus Lagna, then Venus is your Lagna Lord and the sixth Lord. So some things related to your health or your work, these things could be. All right. Ramya Gokul, thank you so much for answering my questions. So thank you beyond words. Grateful to getting answer. Well, my pleasure. Sneha Rajani Singh, please differentiate between Venus and Sun Mahadasha. About to start my Sun Mahadasha. Again, this is like asking, somebody is born in Australia, what will happen? All right, we cannot answer that question. It depends on where sun is, what sun is doing in your chart. All right. So, but in essence, you could understand that Venus is a watery planet and Surya is a Agni Tattva planet. Okay, sun is a fiery planet. So, without looking at the horoscope, you can have an idea that watery planets give you things much more easily. All right, anything in life, watery planets give you quite easily. So, when Sun Mahadasha starts, depending on your ascendant and your placement of sun, it can happen that you need to put more efforts now, because Agni is like, imagine you are standing in a hot sun. Now, for example, in India it's 40, 45, 50 degrees some places. So how does it feel in the hot sun? So be ready to be disciplined, work more, and be very focused and committed. Okay, do not just waste time doing unnecessary things. Neha Rajan, this is my answer without seeing your horoscope. All right. Okay. All right, so I see that everybody is asking questions about their personal horoscope. So I would request you that if you want specific questions, it can only be dealt once the entire horoscope is seen. Okay. Okay, Vladislav Limising, thank you for advice and guidance. Okay. Jatin Anand is saying, I am about to get fundings for my startup. Can I get it in coming month, July? I am Gemini Ascendant. Well, maybe you get it. Wish you all the best, but that's not my word, okay? You have to see the whole chart. I cannot answer that question. Ultra Instinct Utkarsh is saying, does Sagittarius represent forest? Well, they say Capricorn represents the forest. It also represents barren land. Ramya Gokul is saying, I'm from South India, Chennai, sir. Any remedies in South India, sir, namely Kanchipuram or Trichy, because it would be, well, you could go to Kanchipuram now. You can always go there, because now there's a very special festival. It's known as Ati Varadaraj festival. There's the deity of Lord Varadaraj. Varadaraj is Vishnu himself. He is coming out from the Anand Sarovar after 40 years, okay, and till mid of August he will be there, and after that he will go back. Mid of August he is going back to the Anand Sarovar, and after 40 years he will come back. All right. So it is my great misfortune that unfortunately I will not be able to attend that festival. I was supposed to, but due to some reasons I could not attend. So I would request whoever is in south or north or east or west, wherever they are, if you can, then please visit Kanchipuram. Yes, sir. From 1 July, the festival is starting. So yes, correct. You are right. So in fact, yesterday one of my senior godbrothers, he had sent me the photo. The DT is already out from the pond. So now you can go there, and I already made a video on Mother of All Remedies for Kanchipuram, so you can watch that. And you can fast for 7 days. Fast for 7 days, it doesn't mean that you don't eat anything. It means that and you should start the fasting on Sunday. So you could reach Kanchipuram by Saturday or Friday, and then from Sunday you could start the fasting, and you should fast till the sunset. Okay, so you are lucky that in India the sunset is there around 6:30, but I'm in Europe, and in Europe the sunset is at around 10:30 now. So if I fast till sunset, it's very difficult, but whoever is in India, it's a bit easier for them. Okay, so you can do this for Sunday to Saturday. Okay, please do not start the fast on a Monday. It's not recommended. The fast should always be started from Sunday, all right, because Surya is the king of the planets and you need to honor him the first, all right. So that's from my side. Nikita Vankude is saying, what about Boston, USA? I don't know what she means by that. Rishi is saying, thanks for the video. What you said about last 9 months have been correct for me. Things were working out the way I was expecting to. Related houses will be winners. Okay, congratulations. Sai Krishna 13 is saying, hi, how are you? I'm fine. How are you, Sai Krishna 13? Venus Combust effects for Meena Lagna, please explain. Well, this is the homework which you have to do for every ascendant. Tanmaya Mane, does Ketu Dasha and give any good results? Well, again, depends on where Ketu is, okay, and depends on what you mean by good. So, for example, the 10th house is not a good house for marriage, but it's a great house for career. So it depends what you want as good or bad, okay. For example, the 4th house is a good house for property, but it may not be a great house for children. All right, so it depends on what you treat as good or bad, okay. Sneha Rajan, yes, I'm planning for going to Kanchipuram. I am from Madurai. Fantastic. Yada Palmer, you Indians all need to accept Jesus Christ as your savior. Well, yes, definitely, Jesus Christ is our savior. He is the savior of everybody. Yes, preach the divine knowledge of God. So, Jesus Christ, he is no less than anybody. He's no less than Vyasdev, or he's no less than anybody. All right, he is. Ah, there you go. Hinduism is a false and wicked religion. So, there you spot Christian missionaries here. All right. So, I will end the chat with this. It's interesting to see people like this. Okay, so thank you very much. Jesus extremists. Nagaland will win India for Christ. All right. So it's about geography now. Okay. So thank you very much, all of you, for joining this conversation, and wish you all the best for this Venus combust which is there. So always remember that never resist change in your life, okay. Let change come the way it comes. All right, Neha Grover, any remedies for weak mood? Yes, I have made a video already on 10 symptoms of a weak moon or afflicted debilitated moon, so you can watch that, okay. Sanjay Sukharami, can you how to get a personality? You can go to my website, you will find it in the description section, okay. All right. Thank you very much. Nice to see you, and hopefully see you next weekend. Okay. So happy Ekadashi. Today is Ekadashi. Happy Ekadashi to all. And if possible, visit Varadaraj temple in Kanchipuram before 15th August. Okay. If possible, visit. You will have an amazing time. You can go there and you can pray for yourself, for your family, for your spiritual enlightenment, and you can also pray for me also. Okay. Thank you very much. Nice seeing you. Wish you good luck. Bye bye. End stream. Bye bye.